Here we are. Here we are, finally. I know I'm really late here. I know I said I was going to do this a few days ago, and I actually did film it, but I was a little hot-headed at the time. I definitely can be pretty hot-headed, and I felt like I needed to just sleep on it for a night. And then, if you guys saw probably all over my social media, I was with Natalie and Reba the last few days, and I had plans. Like, Reba was supposed to leave Sunday first thing in the morning. When I woke up, she was supposed to already be gone, and sure enough, I woke up to her alarm, and I tried to wake her up a million times, but Reba's one of those people that will not wake up to an alarm. So I was screaming at her, you guys. I was literally like, wake up, like, I have stuff to get done, which, like, it wasn't about me. I was just trying to, like, get her up. I was taking the blanket off of her so she would be freezing. I was just trying to get her out of bed because she was about to miss her flight, and she snoozed it, and then I ended up falling back asleep, and I woke up literally like 10 minutes before she was going to board. I don't even know why I bothered, but I was like, Reba, you're about to miss your flight. Like, are you skipping this flight? And she, in the most serious voice, was like, I'm skipping it, in the most like awake voice. So I was like, okay, went back to sleep, and then I wake up, start my morning, and she wakes up all disheveled, and she's like, oh my God, like, I missed my flight. Reba, girl. She is so funny. I love her. She said it was her first time missing a flight ever, but I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, I woke up a little too well rested. I knew I missed my flight. And then all of the flights yesterday were like over $1,000. So she ended up staying all day yesterday, and then she left at like 3 p.m. today. So yeah, I don't know. I had a few things to deal with, and then like I'm moving right now. So you guys have probably seen that. Me, Natalie, and Reba built my new couch. I love it. But the real reason I know most of you are here is to hear about my experience on this reality show. I know, I've done YouTube for the last 3 years, so some of you maybe are people that have already watched me and then saw me go on the show, and then I think a lot of you are probably people that their first time seeing me was on Temptation Island, which, like, I don't know how I feel about that. I definitely was, like, so genuine, so myself that whole show, but also editing can change so much. It can paint you, like, it really painted me as such a, like, lover girl, just so madly in love. Sorry, let me turn that off. Sorry, my phone was going off. But yeah, I don't know if that's how my friends would necessarily characterize me, but overall, you guys, it was a really great experience. I don't regret it at all. I came out with so many amazing friends, so many stories, and really that is why I went on Temptation Island. So I feel like I kind of want to start with that, and just a sense of, like, I want to give you guys a backstory. I have been obsessed with Temptation Island for probably 6 years, I would say. I know I started watching it, honestly, probably even more when I think about it. Like, when I was in college at the latest, and I found it on, like, USA Network on Roku, and I was like, whoa, how have I never heard of this? This sounds, like, crazy and interesting. So I started watching it. I used to have to pay for it, so I would literally, like, pay for it on USA Network to watch because I was so invested. And then I would tell all of my best friends about it. I made my friend Courtney watch it. I made my best friend Sydney watch it. I was making everybody that I would hang out with watch this show. I made my roommate in college, Mia, watch it. Like, it's so funny. All my friends just find it so funny that I went, because I have been obsessed with the show for so long. Even when I moved to Miami, I was, like, showing my friend Vanessa, and when I saw that Netflix posted that it was coming to Netflix or whatever, I sent that post to all my friends being like, oh my God, you guys, like, Netflix bought Temptation Island. This is going to be tea. Like, this is going to be so good. And even in that moment, I had no intention of being on the show. And that was only like 3 months before the show came out. So it's so funny to look back at that. And a little, like, backstory how I ended up on TI is I saw that TI was casting from a producer that I followed. My girl Jackie, shout out to you, but me and Jackie had followed each other on Instagram, and she had posted that TI was casting. Like I said, I sent it to my friends. I was kind of, like, still in a weird place with my infamous ex-boyfriend at the time. We were already broken up. We broke up in New Year's, but, like, we were still, like, seeing each other, like, we were dating, talking every day, like, we were dating. So I knew it wasn't a good relationship, right? But like I was madly in love with him, so I didn't consider going on TI. But then things really, were hitting the fan when it came to me and him. So I don't know, me being me, I was just like, you know what, this is not working. Obviously, like we are never going to get back together. Let me hit up Jackie. So I just DM'd her and I was like, hey, are you guys still casting? And I kind of didn't even think that she was going to, because like I said, this is like a month later. And she was like, yeah, girl, like what's your number? So literally the next day I had a phone call. She scheduled me my Zoom interview that was recorded. Like that was like the main interview. I think it was like an hour to 2 hours. I did that interview, and then probably a few weeks later went by. They called me, said I got through that interview round. I was actually in Curacao, I think, at the time, on a trip when I got that call. And then I had another Zoom call with like the 2 producers of the show, and some other people at Netflix. So that was like a 20-minute Zoom call, kind of just like in my bikini, like doing my thing, whatever. I was pretty confident at that point, but it was hard because like the show was starting in 2 weeks. So I was like preparing like I was going, but at the same time I knew that like there's a chance I'm not going to be chosen, right? Like I know they're not only interviewing 12 girls. So ultimately, like 2 weeks before the show, like a week after that interview, they called me and told me like, okay, you're like 99% going to be in the show. So I was like, bet this is perfect. I'm obviously scrambling, trying to figure out all of these things. I work for myself, so I'm trying to figure out all these things, whatever. And then I got the news that my dad was diagnosed with cancer, like right during all of this time. So that was a very like hard decision for me to make, because I knew he was getting his first surgery. Like it was supposed to be while I was gone. So it was definitely like a back and forth. Like I don't even think I don't know if I should go, but my parents are literally the most like biggest blessing in my life. They're so unbelievably supportive. And my dad was like, hey, my like surgery got moved. It's not even going to be until after you're home. Like, please, like go. Like they've always expected to see me on TV one day. They've told me that my whole life. So my dad was so much like, please go. I can't wait to hear all about it, and everything will be fine. So I ended up going on the show. They actually called me when I was at my hair appointment, just a few days before I planned to like fly to Hawaii. I hadn't gotten my flight yet, but they told me like this was the day you're flying. And I get a phone call from TI, and they were like, hey, did you know that you're actually going to be one of the surprises? And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, you're actually not going to be coming in until like 10 days into the show, whatever. I think it was, day 10, when Daria and Angel came in. Excuse me. So I was extremely disappointed. Of course, I'm like at my hair appointment, like getting everything perfect. I mean, obviously not perfect according to you guys. That was my bad. That wasn't even on my hair, girl. But I was like at my hair salon. I went back in. I'm like, girl, we're gonna have to schedule another appointment because I'm not going. I was super disappointed. I was like, I want to be there for the whole thing, right? But at that point, I was like, I'm always looking at the bright side, tried to be like, okay, whatever, at least it'll be the whole episode, like, dedicated to my arrival, it'll be fun. And then, like, 45 minutes later, they called me, and they're like, oop, mistake, never mind. You are going to be coming in a few days. So, quickly, it just, like, went back to normal, which thank God, like, I can't even imagine if I wasn't there right from the beginning, the things I would have missed. I don't know. So you guys saw like our intro line. We got the news like that day that, oh, there's going to be something new. Of course, like I told you guys, I was a big super fan, so I knew all of the TI things, and I was like, is it going to be like season 5 where we have a party? What's it going to be like? I knew we had these intro lines that I was so nervous about. They actually didn't show my intro line, so I don't know. I was really relieved they didn't show my intro line, but I guess I'll tell you guys what it was, because I feel like you should know. Ready? Hi, or no, start with hi. I just said, my name's Kay. I'm a YouTuber from Miami. I'm used to be on camera, but I can't wait to get you into a room without any. Awkward. Yeah, they didn't want to promote my YouTube channel. Fair enough. Instead, they just put like other clips of me. But that was my intro line. We honestly, us girls had a lot of fun coming up with those. We were all like really nervous, but I feel like since we were all looking stupid together, it ended up being like a really fun thing. And I was like debating. I was like, I saw the boys, and like looking back, I was debating between Grant and Tyler, which is just insane. I was only considering Grant because of the tattoos. I'm a big tattoo girl. Like, if you guys saw my type in the real world, on the outside, you'd be like, oh, this makes no sense, because none of those boys were my type. I like a Spanish boy, honestly, and he wasn't there. I would have fought to the death for a Spanish boy with tattoos. But I ultimately ended up choosing Tyler. I don't know. I think probably I saw he was with a blonde, and I was like, this is probably easy. But chose Tyler. And then another crazy fun fact that you guys didn't know from watching the show is they actually cut out our whole first night with the boys. I was wearing a little red shirt, little mini skirt. I was actually really awkward on the first night. I was really relieved they cut it out. I remember I went to sleep that night being like, I just screwed myself. Like, I was so awkward. I didn't talk to any of the boys. Me and Reba were just talking like all night. We were already friends at that point. So I don't know, they cut out the whole last night, and when you guys saw me in the orange outfit, they acted like the lingerie party was the first time us meeting the boys, and the boat party was the first time some of the girls hung out with them. That's just not true. After date selection, they came to the house. We had a whole party. We all hung out, went to sleep. The next day we woke up. I had a conversation with Grant that morning. I had a conversation with Tyler, I think, that day. And they left, went on their boat day, and then they came back and we had the lingerie party. But you see me giving Grant a hug, being like, "Hi, I'm Kay. Nice to meet you." And that was not said in that moment. So it was kind of an interesting thing to me to see as like a reality TV fan, being like, "Whoa, they actually do that." I don't know. I didn't realize that would actually happen, but yeah, a lot was cut out. So many nights were cut out. That's why I'm like, every clip I'm in a ponytail. I swear, you guys, I did my hair sometimes. It must have just been the nights they didn't show me. Like, I swear. But then you see, like, after that Tyler and I get an extra date, and some people have asked me why that happened. We get that extra ice cream date. I think it's because, like, that morning you see us working out, and the lingerie party, him and I had, like, a 2-hour conversation that night, and it just, like, wasn't shown at all. So I think producers probably just saw, like, oh, these two are really connecting. We want to get those two, like, separate. I don't know. I just remember we were working out. They were like, come to a confessional. And then they were like, you're not doing a confessional. Like, you're going on a date. I was like, oh, okay. Something for Kay. So, yeah, we went on that ice cream date. I was really disappointed because not only did I not want to be slurping ice cream. Hold on, let me make sure my voice memo is still going. Not only did I not want to be slurping ice cream on my first date, Tyler's lactose intolerant. So they made us go to dates in separate cars that time because they didn't want us to have any talk off camera. And while we were driving, I like turned to Danny, one of the like cast managers, and I was like, you guys do know that Tyler's lactose intolerant, right? Because at that point I already felt like I knew so much about Tyler, because you guys have to remember, you guys saw 5 hours of our house, only an hour of Tyler and I probably. So it's like, but we were together 24 hours 6 days a week. Imagine the conversation that we were having with no phones, no distractions. So I already knew all this stuff, and I was like, and they did not know that he was lactose intolerant, and I was like, y'all picked an ice cream date for this man who's lactose intolerant. I'm dead. But of course, like, every ice cream place has a dairy-free option. So Tyler got the dairy-free. I went the carrot cake like you saw. But I didn't want to be eating ice cream on camera, you guys. So you also see at the end, I have ice cream just fully spilled all over the table. Like, it was a complete mess. It definitely stressed me out. But that was just because I think it was like my first date. I thought it went pretty well, honestly. After that date, I was like, okay, this is gonna be pretty straightforward, I think. Like, I was like, we have so much in common, and that is something that I've never wavered on. Like, though I never went to Temptation Island thinking I would leave with a boyfriend or a husband, never at any point in the show did I think I was leaving with a boyfriend or husband, because it's just obvious. Like, I don't want a man that's cheating on his girlfriend. I know that sounds really, really hypocritical, but at the end of the day, I knew what I was there to do. And so anyway, I can't deny, though, that we did have an actual connection. Of course we did. Like, we connected on fitness. We connected on, like, what we want to do in terms of, like, spirituality, in sense. We connected on, I don't know. He was probably just mirroring me, honestly. But, like, in the moment, I definitely felt like, okay, we have things in common enough to, like, we can have really conversations that flow really easily. And then things got a little bit weird, like, throughout the end of this first week, second week, because me and Reba were very close. That's like a friendship that wasn't shown on camera. And also Tyler's situation with his ex-wife was a situation that wasn't shown on camera. So there was like a whole thing in the show that you guys didn't see. And basically it was that Tyler was very threatened by my friendship with Reba. It's plain and simple. He said that, and maybe not those exact words, but to me, to other people in the house, like, this wasn't a secret. But I didn't know. I knew that Tyler had an ex-wife, of course. That was something I knew immediately. But I didn't know that his ex-wife had left him for a woman. So I made a joke in the house at one point about, like, us being a throuple, me, Tyler, and Reba, because me and Reba were literally just, like, attached at the hip because we have so much fun together to this day. Like, we've been besties ever since the show. So, like, we were extremely close, and Tyler didn't like that, and he did not like the fact that I made that throuple comment. I don't remember how I found that out. I don't remember if someone told me. I just know it got around that, like, that really offended him. But to be honest, to this day, I don't even care. I don't think it's a big deal. But I also, like I said, didn't know the backstory with it. So after that, Tyler was, like, gung-ho on, like, Reba's getting eliminated. And Reba wasn't helping herself. She wasn't making an effort to talk to the boys. God bless her. Love her to death. Don't blame her either. I was honestly trying to get her to talk to Tyler just because I wanted her to stay. Like, there was just other people that should have definitely been gone before Reba. She was just like, great energy in the house and just such a great girl. And it was just disappointing, and especially I felt guilty because I felt like it was my fault, and it made me feel like, well, I don't want to hang out with Reba because I don't want to put her in a bad spot. But I don't know, it just happened so fast. By the time elimination came, I already knew that Reba was getting eliminated. She already pretty much knew, but, like, it wasn't a secret, and that's why you see me sobbing when Reba leaves, because I was devastated, and I was really upset with Tyler about the situation, because I'm like, you could have vouched for her to stay, but you vouched for her to leave. And that made me mad. But honestly, in hindsight, he did what he had to do, because after that, I was like, you know what? I'm bored. So things just weren't the same without her. So I was like, might as well go all in with this show and with Tyler in this romance love story. So, like, that is where my head was at. And it worked because, like I said, after that, I started sleeping in his room too, because my bed, you guys all on TikTok are like, well, you were begging to get in his room. Begging is a strong word. I want to say that. Begging is a strong word. Begging would imply that I asked more than once. There was never a time that I asked to be in the room that he never said yes. Let's just put that out there, okay? And you also have to remember, I lived in this house. I wanted to see what the whole house looked like. His was totally, like, separate from the main house. Like, you wouldn't be in that room had he not invited you in. So I wanted to go see it. I wanted to see what everybody's room looked like. I was nosy. I had nothing to do. But you guys just see that clip, you know? Like, that was probably, we had probably been sitting there for a couple hours, and I was like, let me see the room. But that's all you guys saw. So fair enough. But by the second week, my bed had thousands of fire ants, and Mel, Nikki, and Reba can all confirm this for you guys. They put my laundry bag on my bed one day because they did our laundry, and I picked it up. You guys, I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized even thinking about it. I picked it up, and there's just ants everywhere. Would you get back in that bed? I don't care if they wash this. I don't care. Why do you think I was like, sleepover, Tyler, sleepover? Because you were not catching me getting back in that bed. Also, we were sharing a room with 12 girls, one bathroom, and no AC. Tyler had his own bedroom, had his own bathroom, had AC, had no fire ants. Quiet, peace. He had a fan. You know, like, that was where I wanted to be. Whether you like it or not, yeah. That's just how it went. That's why you would be too, I think. I think you would be too. I'm doing this in, like, a part 1, part 2, part 3. I kind of wanted to say that before. Like, part 1 is on the island, part 2 is post island, part 3 is this damn podcast. We're almost done with part 1. I'm trying to make this, like, an hour long. We're, like, 18 minutes in. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling good. I'm a yapper, so I'm nervous to do a video like this. I always cut my videos up. And I'm trying to make this, like, raw and real, and, like, we're just, like, on FaceTime chilling, and I'm telling you my experience, because honestly, I feel like when you're just telling the truth and just being real, like, you don't have to have, like, some big thing planned out. I just have jot notes so I don't get off track because I have ADHD. Okay, anyway, here I am getting off track. So there's another thing also. I want to, give you guys some fun insight, because as a reality fan, I know what I would want to see, and I would want to see some things that weren't shown. Some people ask, like, was there drama in the house that wasn't shown? And there absolutely was. I mean, how could there not be? With 12 girls, 4 boys, the boys have girlfriends. It's just a tense situation, right? So there's definitely drama, and I was actually involved in some drama myself, but it wasn't shown because it was started off camera and off microphone, which really, really pissed me off because, like I said, I'm real. Like, I don't want things to be like, I don't like to beat around the bush, things to be, I just don't like that. Like, if you're gonna say something, say it 10 toes, stand on it, and just like say it with your chest. So there was one particular girl, extremely irrelevant, but like would try really hard, I think, to like somehow be in the mix. And because I had that connection with Tyler, I was like just the target, I guess. But would like come to me and tell me like, Tyler said this about you, Tyler said that about you, Tyler said he's not going to leave with you at bonfire, which like I don't expect Tyler to be saying he's going to leave with me at bonfire on like day 8. Like, first of all, I think producers would be mad at him too if he was like saying that stuff on camera. Like, then why even continue with the show? So they were saying all this stuff, and the thing is like, I personally spoke to Tyler and I said, don't tell, other than like my, besties, like, don't even say our business in the house because it's just drama. Things get around so quickly. I'm like, let's just keep things between me and you and like not speak on our drama to other people and just keep things very vague. So when girls would come to me and be like, he's being really vague about you, being very political was like the term that was used a lot. I was in my head, I'm just like, good. Like, that's what I told him to do, as he fucking should. So there was a lot of drama, and it got to the point where I was irritated though, because this person would always be like, I want to talk to you like in the bathroom, and it would be at nighttime after we had demiked, and we didn't have a camera in our bathroom. That was like the one place that there wasn't cameras, was the girls' bathroom, our one bathroom. So that's where like really like honest conversation would happen. But I was irritated because I'm like, if you're gonna stir drama, don't do it behind the scenes. Do it because it feels like you're trying to like be fake right now. So I obviously would address it with Tyler, and I was like, let's just address it as a group. But that person was not interested in doing that because they were lying. And I don't mean to defend Tyler in any way, but it was just a lot of drama. And like, this person would like talk really badly about Tyler, but then would go to Tyler and be like, oh, are you open to still being pursued? Are you locked in? And it just was like so much drama that like, yeah, I did have drama with a couple people in the house that, I didn't really never talk to since the show, and I'm cool with that because I don't know. Not that I care, like, I don't know. There's just some like annoying vibes for me in the house, but like that was really the only drama that I was involved in. There was also some drama after our night that we went out to the bar, and there was drama between, honestly, like Brianna and the girls. Like, we all had, not me, but like a lot of people had a lot to drink, and tensions were high at that point. And I don't know, a lot of opinions were just being like put on blast, to the point where all of us girls felt like pretty like, whoa, what just happened there? Which is why you saw Amaya decline the date, and also like Olivia declined the date. They didn't show that. So yeah, but by the next day it was all water under the bridge. Like, that's just, by that point we were like family. Like, of course there was gonna be fights, there was gonna be drama. And I was disappointed that it wasn't shown, because there was a few points I was like eavesdropping on the boys while they were just like full shit talking, and they had no idea. And I wanted them to be like, what the heck? She was listening that whole time. Yeah, I was. If they even remember when that was. They were all blasted. But anyway, also another thing I'll address before we move on to Post Island is like people saying like, oh, you were saying you were falling in love. That's something I want to say is like, the producers, you guys asked me if the show is scripted. It isn't scripted. Think about the situation. You couldn't write a story crazier than what that reality is going to be. Like, it's no matter what, like the reality of it all is going to be crazier than anything you could actually make up or script. But the one thing is, they were so pushy on us, like, what's the word I want to say? Progressing what we were saying about each other. I assume they were doing the same with Tyler as well, but like, they were constantly being like, are you falling in love? Are you falling in love? Are you falling in love? And I'm like, no. It was a no 15 minutes ago. It's a no now. But, I got also so close to the cast managers and the producers, and it just got to the point where the end where it's like, I know what they want. I know what the world's looking for here. Like, at the end of the day, I'm here to film a TV show. Did I feel like I was falling in love with Tyler? No. If I'm remembering correctly, the most I said was I can see myself falling in love with him, like in one day in the future, in like 200 years maybe. But I don't know. That was the only thing I would say that was like really pushed on me by producers, as well as the first kiss. That's why you hear me say, thank God that's over when we had our first kiss, because I didn't want to kiss. I didn't want to even do that. Like, for so long, I was pushing it off. There's actually a moment, the one where I'm like in my glasses and Tyler was like, oh, today, after the bowling date, he was like, today was like the best date I've had in a long time. And I was like, yeah, I heard you say that. And he was like, oh, I'm glad that's not reciprocated. And I was like, yeah, I didn't have that much fun. I was pissed off at Tyler that night. And then you can see I keep looking down because I knew that they had played this game earlier and Tyler got this kiss card because Reba told me. And he was going to use it to give me the first kiss that night. But I was pissed at him because he was all over a bunch of other girls that night right after our date that wasn't put in. And I was like, ew. I was like turned off, genuinely. So I did not want to have a kiss. And also he had just told me that he was going to eliminate Reba. Like, I was not down to kiss that night, which is why you see that I'm in my glasses, my hair's up, I'm in pajamas, because I went in my room and went to go to bed and the producers made me come back out. And I knew that he was going to try and kiss me. And I was like, do you really think tonight is the night to try and give me a first kiss? Like, absolutely not. Those listening on audio, you're not going to see this, but like, if you see, this is the night, the clip that I'm talking about. So yeah, that was supposed to be our first kiss, and then they all expected me to give him a kiss after we had the paint party, because that was like the winner got to like kiss Tyler wherever we wanted to. Lucky me. Oh my god. They didn't even show it because that's so stupid. But yeah, I kissed him like on the neck, and everyone was like, what the heck? Like, why didn't you kiss him on the lips? And I was like, because I don't want to. So happy to just have it, and that's why we like went into the temptation tent right away, because I was like, perfect, I feel like this is better, no one's around, no cameras, no nothing, let's just get this over with. And that's why I did. And honestly, throughout the season, we only kissed we didn't even kiss that much. Like, we really didn't. And like, even on our fishing date, they were like, oh, you guys we know you had a kiss in the tent, like you guys should have a kiss on this date. So we had a kiss on that date. When he kissed me when we were at the bar that one night, I was shook. Like, I was so surprised he was like kissing me out in the open like that, just for like no reason. So it really isn't what you guys think. Like, we never had sex ever on our overnight date. On the 2 nights we spent in Hawaii, never was that happening. Ever. I wasn't going to do that. Yes, you saw that one clip where it's like, oh, we don't have to resist temptation. Okay, you guys heard 1 second of a clip. Like, I'm just flirting. Like, I'm just saying shit. Like, he already knew that we weren't going to do that. Like, I'm saying stuff like that. It just is like saying, like, you know, we don't have to resist. Like, we're doing this all wrong. We don't have to resist each other. Like, I admit to saying that. Obviously, I did say that. But that doesn't mean that I was begging him to, please, for the love of God, you guys. My ex-boyfriend was, like, 6'6", 230 pounds. Okay, I wasn't begging to get onto top of Tyler. Believe me. Okay, that was a little too far. But yeah, so let's go quickly now to the overnight date, because we're getting a little deep in here and we have a lot to talk about still. The overnight date, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah. Yep. Keep in mind, during these like pillow talks that Tyler and I would have like every single night once I started sleeping in his room, we would talk for a few hours every night. Often we would talk about like religion, spirituality. We would talk about a lot of things, but a lot of things along those lines, and just stories of our past. And he, of course, was like opened up to me about his relationship with Taylor and Tyler. And in those moments, I personally felt like it was like off camera. That's how I felt, because it would be like 4 or 5 a.m. We wouldn't have mics on and we'd be in the dark. So I honestly like underestimated how good those microphones and cameras were. I couldn't believe that they picked up on stuff we were saying, which is so ridiculously stupid of me and naive. But I really felt like those moments were like free moments. That's why I was sitting there vaping. Like, when that clip, it went viral on TikTok, like Kay hitting the vape through her sleeve. And I'm saying like, oh, you know, I didn't come up here for that reason. Like, that's because in those moments I felt like those would never be shown on camera. Like, those were real moments for me. But sometimes I would really get red flags from Tyler, because when I would hit the vape, like in those moments, or, you know, hit the Delta 8 pen or whatever, he would like stop mid-sentence what he was saying. And I'm like, wait, like, you're always aware that there's cameras, and like, it just sometimes, a lot of times, and it definitely wasn't me that felt like this, like, a lot of people in the house came to me feeling this way, and I would try and defend him, but like, I also agreed, like, it felt like he was like just trying to talk to the cameras and like put on this whole like crazy, I don't know what he expected, I don't know, but like it just sometimes didn't feel real. And like there was so many times I would go in the confessional and be like, I don't know how I'm feeling about this. Like, he was shitting on his ex-wife, calling her selfish, saying really disrespectful things about the other guys in the house. Like, I get making fun, but like he would take it too far sometimes, and like saying all these things, saying like, oh, I keep a Bible at my nightstand just so the audience sees that like I'm religious, and they just see that. Like, it just felt a little like I just went here and just was myself. You know what I mean? Like, I really, did I know I was on TV? Yeah, did I enjoy playing the romantic part? And sure, we connected. But it's like, he was so concerned, it felt like, about his image and putting on this certain show for the world. And I don't think it worked in any way, clearly. But like, sorry, dude. I know you really tried. But like, all those things, and I would try and like justify it, like, I don't want to believe that, but like, it really was giving me the ick, a lot of those things, you guys. So like, it's unfortunate they didn't show that in the show, because instead it just makes me look like a fool in love. But like, I'm not stupid. I definitely had a lot of things in my head that was like, oh boy, like, this is not something that I would deal with, like, for real. Had I not just flown 18 hours to Hawaii. I had the longest flight out of everyone in the house too. Everyone's like, you're pick me. Yeah, guys, I was in a situation where I was attempting to be picked because I didn't just fly 18 hours to Hawaii, and I'm not living with bed bugs, going to the medic every other freaking day to get treated for fire ants, like, for nothing, okay? And I wanted to go on these dates. I wanted to get out of the damn house, okay? I don't know. I understand it's a messed up concept, but you have to understand that they all applied to be there. They all wanted it. They all wanted this. This wasn't a split moment decision, okay? This was like a long time coming. We signed multiple contracts. So, I don't know. See, now I'm getting off track. Overnight date. Wasn't a good night. Wasn't a fun time. It was fun, I guess, the first part of the night. No, it actually was probably the worst date for me. I'm not gonna lie. It, hands down, is the worst date. I'm sorry, I'm just like thinking about all this as I think about it. Like, to start off, yes, was the house absolutely stunning? Yeah. We drove the car a million times, just up and down and up and down. They were like forcing me to like say, like, in my ear on the radio, being like, say like, oh, this is what it would be like on the outside. I was like, ew, that's cringe. I would never say that. Thank God I don't think they put that in. But I was like, I would never say that. But then they obviously put that shitty ass clip of my hair. In hindsight, should have put my hair in a ponytail. But you guys, my hair being extensions has never been a secret. My hair is just up to my shoulders just like 3 months ago. Like, obviously I didn't grow it. Like, I talk about my hair journey all the time on my social media, so that's no secret. But they definitely didn't have to do me like that in that car scene clip. We get to the house is stunning, but they tell us that we have a chef, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Well, Tyler was eating vegan at the time of the show. So the chef was cooking us a vegan meal with tofu. Now, I'm an extremely picky eater, you guys. I ate eggs, Lunchables, and Uncrustables, and pasta. Those 4 things. The whole time I was on the island, I lost 12 pounds. So when I found out they were serving tofu, I was literally terrified, and I was also starving. I had not eaten all day. And I was not eating that tofu. I tried one bite. They didn't even put any of that in, you guys. I actually forced down a few bites of that meal just because I was like, I'm on TV. Like, the chef is right there. Out of respect, I'm going to be respectful. That's who I am. I have to eat some of this. But it was so terrifying for me because I just am scared of a lot of food. I don't know. I'm trying to get better at it. But I ate this nasty tofu and was still starving all night. Then we go in the hot tub. The hot tub was fun, but it was just like, we were so tired. It was just like, okay, let's get this scene, kind of. And then just like ready to just go to bed and be done. And then we did our little goodnight scene, went to bed. We unplugged the cameras because there was a camera in there. And he like got lotion, was like giving me a massage. I like showered and stuff. But I'm not kidding you guys. He spent the next 2 hours telling me about his ex-wife. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure I was chit-chatting, asking questions. I'm sure I was engaging because that's just who I am. and I was being kind, and I wanted to know these things, but it felt like this is potentially our last night together and our last night hanging out. And not that at that point I was definitely not fucking anybody. Like, we were not gonna do the deed, because he had told me on that night, he was like, when I sleep with somebody, I've only slept with 2 people, is what he said. And I know everyone's saying like, oh, but he said his ex-girlfriend and ex-wife said he cheated a bunch of times. I think it was just didn't get that far. And I have my reasons for thinking that, but I do believe that he had only slept with his ex-wife and his ex-girlfriend. Actually, I don't know if I believe that at all. I'm just so naive, I don't know. But either way, that's what he told me, and I was like, ooh, way too much pressure. And he was saying like, oh, when I sleep with a girl, like, that's my wife, like, I plan to be with them forever. And I was like, okay, we haven't even seen what this is like outside the island at all, and like, I really don't have any intention of being with you. So yeah, at that point, I had no intention of sleeping with anybody. And like I said in my TikTok, I take that really seriously. Before my ex-boyfriend, I was celibate for a year, and it like totally changed my view on all of that stuff. So like, that was just not my intention. Plus, yeah, it just wasn't gonna happen. So I was down to talk, but I wasn't really loving the fact that we spent the whole night talking about his ex-wife and that whole situation. And then on top of that, he just like fell asleep in the middle of it. Like, no goodnight, no, we didn't kiss at all, like nothing. Not that I wanted to necessarily, but it was more so just kind of like, damn, like, you just wasted my whole night, because why did I just sit and listen to you talk about and vent and trauma dump about your ex-wife, and then you just fall asleep? Like, what am I doing here? So I ended up like going downstairs. We got in a fight a little bit. I was like, dude, just send me home at this point. Like, don't make me sit around. And he's like, no, I'm for sure taking you home at Final Bonfire. Like, I'm for sure picking you at Final Bonfire. And he's like on the verge of tears. Like, I was crying, not because of Tyler, but because I just wanted to go home at that point. I was so over it. Like, I was so like, I just am done with this shit. Like, please just send me home. So then he's like talking. He's like, I care about you so much, and I love you, and this and that. And I was like, whoa, you what? But like, he just kept talking and talking. So luckily, thank Jesus, I didn't have to address the I love you. I don't even know. But I went immediately the next day and told Natalie. I was like, dude, he said he loved me last night off camera. This wasn't even for the show. So I was like, oh my God, this guy is going to be like, tape stuck to my shoe. Like, how am I going to get rid of this after the show? Like, he's obviously pretty attached at this point. Like, I might have taken things too far type thing. Might add a little bit too much fun. I was still thinking about my ex. We get to the next morning. Now, the whole thing, I want to give Tyler a little bit of grace, even though he doesn't deserve it, I don't think. He's right. We did have the OF conversation on our overnight date. But that is because... a few reasons. There's a few reasons that I waited to have just like the full like, let's like air this, like talk about all of this. The first reason is I wasn't dying to talk about it on camera, on mic, because first of all, there's like always people listening, and like producers I thought would be unhappy with me bringing something like that up. 1, 2, I don't know, it was like on a Netflix show. Like, I felt like I never talked about it in any of my interviews, and I never talked about it with any of the producers. Like, I just never spoke about it, so I didn't know, like, obviously I felt like they had already seen it and everything, but I don't know, I just kind of was keeping it under wraps, and I was keeping everything under wraps. Like, I didn't even want people to, like, really know about, like, my social media accounts. Like, I just kept things a little bit quiet at first, just in general. But then, I found out, like, so many other people have accounts, like, in our house and the other house. Like, I'm not the only one, right? So, like, I would talk, like, quickly after the first week or two, at this point, almost everybody in the house knew that I had an account on OF. So I was like, I never brought it up to him specifically, but I had had many conversations with Grant about it, with Brianne, like, I think Brianne, and definitely the girls. So I was like, well, he definitely knows. And also at one point he came up to me and was like, which was so odd to me and definitely a red flag, that he came up to me and was like, so I heard you make like a lot of money. I was like, first of all, I still to this day don't know who went and told him that. I thought that was super weird. And it must have been someone that I really talked like numbers with when we were off camera on a dark day, or when the boys were at Bonfire, like we had one day a week where we didn't film. The boys were separated from the girls. So me and the girls like really opened it all up. So like I would openly talk about all this stuff when it was our dark day, or when they would send us to the hotel when the boys had bonfires, we were also off camera and off mic. So we would all talk about tons of stuff in those many, many hours where we would just all sit and talk. So I was very much like, okay, you're talking about my money, you're talking about this, you definitely know the vibe. I just didn't bring it up for like, because I didn't feel like I really needed to also. Like, I was there to get my job done. I wasn't there to, oh, I want you to be my boyfriend after the show. So I honestly was like, I don't really care. However, when we got to the end, before Bonfire, I wanted him to make a fully informed decision. Like, I wanted to make sure, like, okay, at this point, I do want to make sure he openly and honestly like knows every single thing about me, and we have this rare opportunity where we're off camera. Even when we would go on dates, you guys, we weren't allowed to speak if we were in the same car and not on camera. They would not let us have any conversation the entire month off camera. This was my first time I was able to have a conversation fully off camera and, you know, with him. So we both said things that we never told each other until that night. And he's just the only one that airs things out. So, till now. But, so I would give him that. Yeah, that is the first time we had the full-on conversation. But don't act like you didn't know. And don't act like that was a deal breaker for you, because he flat out told me, your honesty after Bonfire, your honesty last night with everything, like, that is what confirmed to me that, like, I am leaving with you. Like, that just made me, like, so what are you going on fucking that podcast talking about? That's what I don't get, you guys. I don't get it. And damn it, we're so far from 1 minutes. I don't know. So Bonfire, whatever Bonfire happened, people were like, why did you say yes? Because I felt like he had been really respectful and talked highly of me the whole season. So I was like, why? I'm not going to embarrass this man in the last second. Did I think about it? Yeah. No one in the history of TI has ever done that. As a fan, I was like, this would be iconic. But also I was like, I don't know. That could make me look really, really mean. And I didn't know. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. I didn't know what, like, a shitty situation it all was. Because when he was in bed with me, Tyler flat out told me that him and Tay were broken up before the show. He was like, we broke up, basically. Who knows what's real and what's not, but he was like, we were basically broken up, and then the show called us, and we were both wanted to do a TV show, so we decided to just rock it out until the show. So that's why people are like, did you feel bad? Well, in the moment, not exactly, because I had Tyler in my ear every single night saying we were already broken up. I didn't expect to see her sitting and crying in the other house when he's telling me, yeah, we were done. Like, we were already kind of mutually decided not to be together anymore. So it was a very confusing situation for me in the moment. And that's just why I was like, hell yeah, like, let's go. Like, I don't know. And I just think it's kind of unfair, because it's like, we did get a lot of shit, but keep in mind, all we did was kiss. 2 out of 4 couples in both houses slept together on an overnight date. And we did not. You guys didn't see that. But it's like, we're not the only, like, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. It's pretty obvious. Like, people, it's just unfair. It's sad that we didn't have a reunion and get to talk about overnight dates, because I just think it's just unfair, because the misconceptions are very wrong. But whatever, that's literally so long ago, I don't even care. Now, moving into post-Island, this could be, honestly, like, this is where you guys saw probably on my TikTok and, you know, the screenshots that I posted about texts that Tyler sent me after the Island, and I'll throw, like, some of these text messages here when they're fair and make sense. And I hate to have to do that. Like, that's super weird to do, but I know people won't believe me if I didn't do it. I feel like I have to, like, physically show people what was being said and how it wasn't being reciprocated. Right after the show, you know, it was, keep in mind, this was so long ago. So it was hard for me to remember. I had to, like, go back and look at conversations and stuff, because I've, like, fully moved on with my life. Like, that was so, like, a fun experience, but then, like, in the past for me. And I had made it really clear to Tyler that we weren't going to date after the show. Was I maybe open? Like, I kind of made it sound like I take full responsibility. I probably let it on a little bit, as in, like, we're not going to date, but, like, we can continue kind of getting to know each other, maybe see each other after the Island. And that's my fault. I think a lot of us girls have been guilty of kind of letting something just fizzle out instead of just being super straightforward. And I wanted to have a friendship with Tyler. And I thought if I was just like, don't text me, I don't want anything to do with you after the show, it was going to be pretty offensive. So I wanted to maintain a friendship with him. And I thought since I had told him we had not been in a relationship, and, I thought that would be clear, but it wasn't, I don't think. After Bonfire, we went back to the hotel room and stayed up like all night with, Natalie and Grant. They ended up leaving, going back to their hotel room, which was right next door. I get a phone call from my mom. It's like 6 a.m. in New York, where I'm from. And I get a phone call that my grandfather died. So this was like just a few hours after Bonfire. So I was like, okay, I have so much going on right now. Like, my dad was about to start chemo and radiation. My grandfather just passed away. Do I need to get home for this funeral? Luckily, the funeral, they waited for a week. And then because of weather, I actually wasn't able to go home. It was terrible. It was literally like a really awful week after the island and like my personal and family life. So yeah, we spent, that whole thing happened, Bonfire. We ended up staying in Hawaii for those 2 days because the show just gave us our hotel room for 2 more days. We're like, why wouldn't we? So, and like they booked our flight. So like our flight wasn't for 2 days. So we all stayed. It was really fun. Tyler said like in the podcast that it was friend vibes. It definitely wasn't. Like we were definitely kissing and like all on each other the whole time. He was like shit talking, Tay like so much more vocally now that he was off camera. Like it was definitely not friend vibes. But again, nothing more than a kiss. And it was just like a summer vacation romance for me. Like that's what it was for me. And it was really fun. That's the thing. Like it was a fun experience. And I thought leaving the island, leaving Hawaii, that was clear. We said bye to each other. We had the first flight together, me, him, and Natalie. We said bye to each other at the airport. I literally have a photograph of us kissing at the airport. So him saying it was only friend vibes immediately after he found out about the OF is so BS. Like, so not true. I have text messages of him right after the island, immediately texted me saying he had so much feelings for me and all of these things, like you're such an amazing person, it's so hard to come by people like you, like things like that. And but apparently he's saying he was like disgusted by the OnlyFans thing. Like, why are you continuing and like going actually above and beyond now, saying even more things that you ever said to me on camera, if that is how you feel? And I don't care. I understand. That's how some guys feel. Guys, I am such like a realistic ass bitch. Like, I get fully that there are men that do not want to date a woman that does this for work. Like, fully, I totally get it. And I would never even hold it against any guy. So I don't want you guys to think that that is the problem here, because that's fair. Everyone's allowed to have their preferences. And I get that you're allowed to have an opinion on these things. But I know that my man, with like the person that's like the man for me, would have a similar mindset as me, and because of that they wouldn't have a problem with it, right? So it's like I have no harm, no foul. If that's a problem, literally just like you can tell me that. And I knew Tyler was kind of like about it, but we had more conversation and he was like, yeah, like get the bag, totally like supportive of it. As you can see in text messages, he acts like, and I did have a conversation with Taylor recently, just within the last couple days. And she told me that he went home and had a conversation with her and was fully dragging me about this situation, which is news to me because he told me he had no contact with Taylor after the island. I have a text message of him saying that she was chasing for him. So my audio listeners, you'll have to watch if you want to see all of these screenshots I'm posting. But he was saying like Taylor was chasing after him. He ran into her at the gym or somewhere, and they didn't say anything. That's what he told me on the phone, but he told the podcast that they had this whole long conversation. So it's funny looking back, like I'm like, oh, you lied to me. There's a lie, because not that I would have given 2 fucks, genuinely. You could literally have like fucked Taylor after the island. I didn't care. Like I was never going to be romantic with you again. But for whatever reason, yeah, he did lie to me about that, and then was like totally just like caught himself in the podcast. But I don't know. It just like, it was just friendly vibes for me. He was saying all this crazy stuff right away. Like, as you can see the dates, he's saying, oh, I love your balance of fitness stuff, sexy stuff, like saying I make a living off of my muscles and my cuteness. So it's like he went on this podcast, and this is my problem. He went on a podcast with hundreds of thousands of people and preached this, I don't accept, I don't respect what she does. And maybe he didn't say that, but I don't, whatever it is, didn't want a relationship, whatever, because of what she does, and I cut it off, baby. Baby. That's not true. That's not true. You were blowing up my phone. Here you can see texting me, 3 times in a row? Send me a voice memo, nothing. He calls me. I did say I'm at the gym right now. He sends me a text, don't answer. Sends me another text, don't answer. Sends me another text, I don't answer. I text him back the next morning, being like, oh, I wasn't on my phone. Pfft, let's be so real, girlies. We know the truth, girls. Like I said, again, I am guilty for this. Should I have just been like, bro? No. But like I said, we're all so close. We all talked in the TI group chat. Like, I was just trying to be friends with him and just let it fizzle out. And ultimately, that's what happened. So I thought, cool. Like, after 2 months, like, he stopped texting me. Obviously, we know why. He was with a new girl. But, like, I was like, okay, perfect. Like, it fizzled out without me having to see him. Like, he texted me, you see, a month after filming. Filming ended, like, June 1st. So you can see on July 4th, he texted me asking, well, no, he texted me, Natalie, and Grant. I have to see if I can find that text, but being like, oh, why didn't you guys invite me? Which we sent a text to the group chat being like, oh, 4th of July in Miami. And I intentionally didn't text Tyler separately because I didn't want, like, a double date situation with Natalie and Grant. Natalie and Grant were dating at this point. And I didn't want Tyler to have that vibe. I didn't want him to sleep in my bed. So I'm like, it's awkward. Like, why would I invite him? Like, it'd be awkward. I just wanted to be us 3. So I didn't invite him. And then he, like, said something. And that's why you can see in this text, I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I didn't know the situation, which isn't true. Like, this was a plan. I'm guilty of a few lies myself. At least I admit it. But anyway, you guys see all these texts, right? Like, does this look like a man that, like, found out about my work and then just, like, wasn't interested? Like, no. Also, I'm hearing he started talking to this new girl 2 weeks in. So, I don't know. I think it depends what type of girl she is. She either cares because he was talking to me all the way up until, like, July 11th. But apparently they were together like 2 weeks after, but they didn't start dating until like September. So I don't know. The timeline is really messy, you guys. I'm confused too. So don't even ask me about the timeline. I really don't know. And I think we'll never know because our only person that can tell us is a pathological liar, it seems. I don't know. But texting me flirty, whatever, saying I love you, like I already showed you guys. He was calling me, talking about Taylor, saying like, oh, I have to tell you stuff that happened with Taylor, like updating me. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, call me, give me the tea. I don't know, tell me when he went and got all this stuff out of Taylor's apartment. Telling me that Taylor wanted to get back together with him for the sake of the show. I don't know if that's true or not, probably not. I don't know, like telling me all of these things. Asking me like crazy stuff. So then to his advantage, we didn't talk at all, like throughout the whole fall. And then we were talking in the TI group chat. Like I said, we talked a lot in that throughout the, 9 months. I heard through the grapevine that he was posting on his close friend story with this girl, this other blonde girl. And I think I don't know if he was intentionally doing it. It was weird. Like he put like my random friends on his close friend story, but like not me. So I'm like, I don't, like, it's been months, babe. Like I literally am happy for you if you're with someone else. Like I was still probably talking to my ex at that point. Like I went back to my ex after the island, y'all. Like my ex was at my house like a week after. So there's no like decision that he had to make because it wasn't gonna happen regardless. So anyway, January, we're texting. I was confused if he had a girlfriend. We were talking about like photos that we had, and in the group chat, like I wanted to be this like in the group chat thing. You guys maybe kind of get my personality at this point. Like I'm very lighthearted, chill, like don't take me too serious. So I texted and I was like, wait, Tyler, like, do you have a girlfriend or what? Because am I going to be able to post these pictures of us? Because I'm not going to post them if you have a girlfriend. Like, because a lot of them were like hugging, kissing my cheek, that type of thing. Because I got a disposable camera when I was on the island. So I wanted to know like which ones I could post. And he didn't even answer. I'm going to have to see if I can find the text. He just sent like emojis. When I filmed this podcast the first time, Reba was with me and she was like, yeah, no, he just sent like emojis. I remember when you asked that. So he like, whatever. I knew he did, but it's weird that he wasn't confirming or denying in the group chat whether he had a girlfriend or not. Like, personally me, I wouldn't let that slide. Like, you better be loud and clear if you're with me. So, I don't know. I thought that was super weird. But whatever. I already knew, like, that was the case. And then fast forward to coming up to the show, we had probably texted, like, a couple times here and there. And then the day before the show released, we had all been talking a ton in the group chat. So, Tyler and I definitely had, like, little combos, chats, whatever, in the group chat. But separately, I gave him a call the day before release. Because, like I said, we've been good friends like, throughout this whole time, like, there's never been beef, ever. So I gave him a call when I was at my eyebrow appointment, and I had, like, my AirPods in. So, like, if you are the eyebrow girl at Face Brown Beauty Bar in Montana, Miami, you can, like, comment down below and verify this, because she heard the whole conversation. We were on the call for 30 minutes. If you're on, like, video, you can see, I pulled this up. I don't want to accidentally call him. Did I screenshot it? I make a lot of phone calls. Okay, I'll have to, like, find the screenshot and put it in the video. But he answered, and we talked for 30 minutes. It was like 29 minutes and some seconds, and we just kind of talked about the show and talked about everything. We talked about Taylor. We talked about everything, like, just kind of preparing for, like, the next day and what we expected to see, what we were excited to see. It was a really harmless conversation, but it was, like, just kind of to show, hi, Muffy. It was just kind of to show, like, we were on good terms, you know what I mean? And then I stayed up that whole night because the show, Muffy, I don't know if you should be right here. I stayed up in that whole night because the show was releasing at 3 a.m. I planned on going to sleep, but us girls were all just, like, texting, and I just, like, ended up staying up. And then I started watching it, and I don't know if there's a time difference where he was, but, like, he was awake also. So, like, I probably started texting him being like, oh my god, like, texting him something funny about the show that was said. And, like, so we were texting all day, like, from, like, 3 a.m. whenever he, like, started texting me back until, like, all throughout the day of the release, because he wasn't watching the show until, like, that night. So, and this was before people were putting opinions out, before, like, any drama had happened. So it was all, like, very fun still, and, like, not beefy, like, drama. It was all just, like, fun. So he was texting me being like, send me photos, like send me photos of our dates, and, like, of me and you, asking me questions about the things I was seeing. So we were texting a lot throughout the day of the release, and we were good, right? Like, it ended fine. That he didn't answer, like, the last text I sent him, he didn't answer. But then at that point I was like, okay, hate is starting to, like, roll in. He's probably, like, pretty stressed and dealing with his own plethora of craziness, and I know he was in the Smoky Mountains with his girl. So I wasn't, like, thinking into it too much, but I remember I did say, I think, to Brianne, because I had spoken on the phone with Brianne, I was like, I think, or it was either Brianne or Grant, I was like, I think, you know, I hope he's just, like, really busy, because he hasn't answered my text, which is, like, kind of weird of him. Like, it was weird that he wasn't answering me. So I'm like, he hasn't answered. I hope that he's not, like, getting a lot of hate too much, or I hope that I haven't posted something that offends him, because you guys, if you've been watching my social media, you know, like, I just lead with comedy. That's just, like, who I am. It's who I always have been. And Tyler knows that, like, by spending a month with me, like, so I figured, you know, any of the jokes I was making, I felt like were really lighthearted, and I was being really careful about what I was posting. Natalie can attest to, like, there were so many things that I wouldn't, like, collab on, or I wouldn't post, even though I thought it would be funny, because I was like, I don't want it to, like, give Tyler any more hate or make Tyler look bad, even though it's, like, clearly a joke. So I thought I was being respectful, but I was like, I don't know, I just hope I didn't say anything that has offended him. Because I don't know, I was just, like, feeling for everybody at that point. Like, again, I thought we were all, like, on the same team. And Tyler and I had many conversations right before the show being like, we are going into this a team. He'd be like, I'm so glad you're not a bitch. Like, we're going to be a team going into this. Like, me and you, if we have a reunion, we're going to wear our bracelets from the bowling date. Like, we're just going to go into this, like, as a unit. Because we knew that people were going to have strong opinions. Not like this. I definitely didn't. Because I hadn't seen the show. But, like, I was just in my own little world. But we really had agreed, like, let's just be a team on this. Let's not be, you know, against each other. It's better to be with each other. But he broke that. I was going to keep that, right? Like, even when I was getting so much hate, I could have, like, made fun of him and probably got people to like me a little bit more. But I chose not to do that and, like, continue to actually defend him. Like, even when I didn't really believe what I was saying, like, just trying to be nice to, like, give him, like, you know, nice. I don't know. So you can imagine my shock when I get a comment on TikTok, like, 4 or 5 days later, or on Instagram, of someone being like, why do you follow Tyler on Instagram, but he doesn't follow you? And I was like, what? This must be a mistake. This must be a huge mistake. So, but I knew it wasn't. Like, I went and looked, and I'm like, yeah, he unfollowed me. So random, right? So I honestly, I didn't feel any type of way about it right away, because I'm like, okay, his girlfriend probably would just prefer him not follow me, because people are probably looking, articles were coming out that were saying like Tyler and her still follow each other on Instagram, so like maybe just to like stop the gossip, his girl and him just like decided like, oh, I'm gonna unfollow her. So like I was like, that's like the harmless. Sorry, excuse my little Muffy. Muffy, please, mommy's working. I honestly figured it was like harmless, like not even like beef, like, but I was like, he probably should have warned me, because he should have known people were gonna immediately clock it. So of course I like unfollowed him back, like I wasn't gonna have that happen. But then I was like, I don't know, like he's probably mad at me for like something I posted, and I started being a little bit bold with like the stuff I was posting, because I was like, whatever, like I was gonna be nice to you, but if you're gonna unfollow me and like not even text me and like explain it or like tell me why, well then why am I like protecting you that hard? So like I was being like pretty nice still, but like I was posting a little bit, like you guys saw my slideshow, like I made some funny, like, you know, just little jokes, little memes, no big deal. I still didn't think I was being offensive. I could have been worse. So like, yeah, like, you know, the quote that's like, oh, if you're offended by what I say, imagine what I'm thinking. Yeah. So I was still being respectful, but then you can imagine my utter shock at this point. Natalie's here, and let me make sure at this point Natalie's here, and we're venturing into part 3. We're on our final stretch. We're at 101. That's honestly pretty good. I start getting messages from all my girlfriends being like, honestly, if I'm being real, they're like, I'm gonna beat this bitch up. But like people were just really upset about like the way and the tone that my OF was brought up on the podcast. Now, keep in mind, when this podcast came out, me, Natalie, and Reba, us 3 were all together. And we wanted, obviously, to go look at the podcast right away, but we were initially planning on doing a reaction video to it. So we held off, and honestly, like, we had plans. We were in Miami, baby. Like, we were going on a boat. We were going to, like, a pool club. Like, we had a bunch of plans, so we didn't even have time to watch the podcast. We watched, like, an hour of it and went live on Instagram, and that's all. And it was, like, boring AF. The part about this was, like, at the very end. So I didn't even realize this came up. I honestly watched part of Tyler's segment in the beginning of the podcast, and I'm like, this is so boring, like this is so like nothing. So I like left not thinking anything, but then I'm getting blown up, like all of my girlfriends texting me being like, oh my god, did you see what was said? And I was like, no, like I didn't watch the podcast. I'm like doing something right now, don't even bother sending it to me. I'm trying to enjoy my day. But of course, I had seen some TikToks, and I went looking, probably like I was like, okay, what is something going around that I should just like be on top of before it spins out of control. And I've never, to this day, you guys, I've never watched Taylor's input on it, nor do I want to. I don't want to have like a bad taste in my mouth, because I really want to no longer blame women for men's issues, and she's not to blame. And I spoke to her, she apologized, and she did not owe me an apology. Like, it's literally like girls together. I believe it or not, I know you guys don't believe me, I am a girl's girl. Like girls, I want the girls to stick together. I'm never gonna like blame her. Like I have no beef towards her. I know like one of her besties has OF, so it's like why, I don't take offense to it. I get it. If that was me, like I would probably make little comments anyway. At the end of the day, it's him, because he had the opportunity to kind of defend my name, or in a sense not run with that story, and he took that opportunity to try and like make himself look morally better, and like he's on this moral high ground. Like, you're not tricking anybody.